I just want to start off by thanking everybody for being here. I know it's Thanksgiving week, and I would be remiss if I didn't start with being appreciative of everybody here, appreciative of everybody coming and doing the job that you've done. I think about all the time. I got a chance to meet with Johnny Square, kind of do my normal meeting with him yesterday afternoon. Just a reminder of, for all of us, the things that we've got and the blessings that we have and the opportunities that we have. And when it comes to our families and these players, and the staff and our community, and kind of tried to remind that with our players yesterday, just about being so thankful and appreciative of the opportunities we got. I know I said it to them and reminded them. It's not the first time, but I reminded them yesterday. A young Tyson Summers, would have been the most excited person in the world if he had the opportunity to have been a Division I football player. And we so much of the time we get caught up in so many things, and we can find the things that are negatives. But at the end of the day, I think just the opportunity and the blessing that we all in our organization get to live out our dreams. As a young kid, all I ever wanted to do was play college football and have an opportunity to do that. And I always wanted to coach my whole life. And to have this opportunity right now and today and the blessings that we have, to be able to do that, I would be the most thankful person in the world to have an opportunity like this. So it's an important week for all of us for a lot of different reasons, but I want to thank everybody in here. Y'all been kind and courteous, taking your time with me, and I'm very appreciative of y'all for everything that you've done. Again, kind of the same thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about my family and the opportunities that they give me. I'm thankful that they'll be here. On Wednesday, my boys have got school Monday and Tuesday, and my middle son Walker's in the semifinals of the state championship this weekend in Kentucky, so we're fired up for him, so he won't be here. My mom's going to go over and take care of them, but I'll have a chance with Beth and Jake and Anderson to spend Thanksgiving this weekend. And then, our staff's done a tremendous job. These players have done a tremendous job continuing to fight and being able to continue to work and do a good job for our university. So I just want to start with that. Next thing really just kind of want to get into is addressing the situation from Saturday evening. I know that I spoke on it after the game, but want to be known as a good football team. Want to be known as a team with high standards and high conduct, and apologize for us not, holding that part of it the other night. I've got to do a better job with those things, and we took a lot of time to make sure that we tried to gather as much information as possible through the weekend, and tried to do a good job of communicating with people and handling that situation correctly. We start each day with culture meetings, and just like we did yesterday, and we try to spend a lot of time on integrity, and we try to spend a lot of time on understanding choice and consequences and things like that. And again, I think those two young men that we're talking about are exceptional people that made poor decisions in a short amount of time. There are consequences that go with that. But again, I try to look at again the big body of work, as well as these small things, these small glimpses of moments of time, and again try to handle those things and educate them, and try to emulate the principles of what we talk about each day, which is kind of giving the truth and hopefully giving grace to people, and then being able to apply some discipline with it. So we'll kind of move on from that part of it. There are pieces that I'm really proud of from the game on Saturday, and again I thought played much better offensively. Boise has a good football team. Coach Danielson's done a good job there, and we came in at halftime, and literally came in at halftime and spoke to the team about, we're going to get an opportunity to come out here and score on offense. As soon as we do, we're going to kick a surprise onside kick. We're going to get it. We're going to turn around and score again. So at the 9-minute mark, in the fourth quarter, we were able to achieve those three goals. We need to continue to try to execute. We had an opportunity, finishing that, to kind of have what we hoped for would be kind of a bloop up kick that we could chase down and give us some field position at the worst. And it didn't happen. We weren't able to execute. And, we wound up with a short field and not being able to help ourselves and maintain the 2-score distance that we kind of put ourselves into. But again, tried to get back to a 2-possession game. We've got to do a better job of taking care of the football. We haven't done that very well. We've got to do a better job of running the football. We haven't done that as well. And we got to find ways to stop the run when we come on defense and do a better job tackling. A lot of those are mistakes, again, that I've got to do a better job helping our football team with, as we go and trying to take accountability. Moving into this week, obviously big game with Air Force, rival, in-state opponent. It's a big game for both schools. I don't know when the next time we'll play this team is. And there's been a long, history there between the two schools and obviously the conferences and those sorts of things. Coach Calhoun has done a tremendous job at Air Force and continues to do a great job. He's somebody I have a ton of respect for. This will be my third time, going against him. Obviously, the challenges of the week, going against an option football team that does as good a job as they do, and has got great history and great tradition for what they do with that. And to go along with it being a short week, those can be challenges. Late night flight, getting back and trying to get back on track as quick as we can. They've done a great job for years and years of playing good defense. Certainly got a really good linebacker, had 2 sacks the other night, and played extremely well. They played very disciplined and opportunistic with their special teams. And it'll be a big challenge for us. Our quarterbacks continue to get better. And obviously, they find ways to be able to do a great job running the ball and being able to hit you with some explosive passes kind of from there. So big week, again, Thanksgiving. Senior day for these seniors. Can't thank them enough for everything that they've done, and great opportunity for us, again, to finish out the season the way we want to, and continue to try to get better as we finish up with this opportunity on Friday. Okay.
At this time of year, you try to keep your team fresh. Obviously, the short turnaround, you're going to try to find. What are the alterations of practice this week?
Yep.
With that goal in mind.
Yeah, good question. So, what we're trying to do is we had a team meeting yesterday, and you've really got to try to take yesterday and treat it like it's a Monday. And you're trying to treat today like it's a Tuesday to get on track as quick as you can. So rather than practice in the mornings, what we're going to do is we're going to move practices to later in the evenings. And what we're really trying to do is one, give the guys as much time as we can to let their bodies refresh and try to get back, and trying to let them kind of reset with their minds as well, and have a good afternoon practice today and try to get on track like today was a Tuesday. But like I said, trying to move those things back gives our staff 5, 6, 7, 8 hours longer to make sure that they've got the best game plan that we can do in a short period of time. And so I think both of those things. I think the other piece that'll be a little bit different is we're going to try to, we're not trying to make excuses. We don't have enough scout team to get through, a normal practice week with some of the injuries that we've had. And so, we're going to kind of take a holistic approach where our offense is going to give the defense the looks, and we're going to give them the looks. We haven't really done that this year, but we're going to, do that today and tomorrow, and to try to make sure that we can get the best looks we can. I think the other part of it is, once we're done with those kind of periods, keep them fresh. We're going to take the shoulder pads off of them the last, 45 minutes of practice each day and get into a little bit different tempo, but we're going to try to take the pads off of them, keep them from banging as much as we can, and hopefully have them fresh by Friday.
Not asking particulars of your game plan, but obviously their offense requires a different tack.
Sure.
How much of it is tied to kind of what you do with your base, and how much of it is actually different that has to be with your approach?
Yeah, this would be, crazy to think about, but 10 years ago when I played Air Force for the first time when I was here, it was the first time I'd ever gone against an option team. And, probably corny to say, but I spent the majority of my time studying them with George Bobo, Mike's dad. And George had run the option and been the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, for a long time in it. And he taught me a lot. And, Marty English had been the defensive coordinator. Marty was exceptional with the option and gave me a tremendous background and foundation to be able to learn. And we were able to play really well that day. So anyway, I say that to say that there's all kind of different tactics that you can take. When I was at Georgia and we played Paul Johnson, we kind of chose one lane. I think with the defense that we have in place, it is very option-oriented and disciplined. So I think you'll be able to see a lot of things carry over for what we do, into how it plays into this game. And then I think there are certain defenses that are very specific to options. So, hopefully we'll be able to do all those things.
What will your quarterback plan look like this week?
Yeah, you tell me. We'll get through today. And we'll try to make sure that, again, we give ourselves the best chance we can win with the guys that are available. So we'll take a look at that. And then, I hope, when we come back on Wednesday, I can give you a little bit better answer where it comes to that. You got a follow-up? You can go ahead.
No, you're good. Oh, yeah, I guess earlier, it sounded like you were a little bit reflective maybe in the past few days. I guess what have you learned personally as a coach, just, dealing with all these different things this season?
That's a great question. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. That's a good question, Michael. I don't know if I've learned as much. I think more than anything, I've been asked a very similar question a couple of times the last couple of days. I'm very proud of what I've been able to try to do over the course of the last season, but particularly the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. And I say that to say that I've tried to make every decision that I could based on the young men that are in that locker room and the staff that we have. And I think that having made a lot of mistakes, and I think that having you've heard me say scars, I think having all those situations that are difficult and challenging, where maybe you don't trust yourself, maybe you don't trust certain things. I think having gone through those periods of times has given me the strength and the opportunity to handle this the best way that I could. And I'm very appreciative of hard times. I think that's where you learn. I think that's where you grow. And we're certainly going through a challenging season right now. But I think I've enjoyed the last month and a half more than I've enjoyed coaching in a long, long time. And I did that because of the people that are here. I did that because of the university, but particularly for the young men that are in that room. They continue to fight, they continue to battle, and they continue to try to do what we ask them to do. I am impressed by them every moment of every day. And I've got to try to continue to figure out, little things to help us finish better. And I've got to try to find little things to help us, be a little bit more detailed so that we can ultimately, get them the win that I feel like that they deserve and wins that they feel like they've earned. And certainly trying to do that for the seniors. But I think just being able to trust yourself and knowing that the scars that you got are important for you to be able to move on, I think are probably what I've learned the best. But I'm proud of what we've done, and I'm proud of how they continue to work, and I'm proud of how they continue to go about their business.
There's some guys, Rocky, Lawrence, I'm sure a lot more that are pretty significantly banged up and kind of fighting through.
For sure.
What does it mean to you for guys basically doing that and what they're doing?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think, I know we talked about it last week, but, the shot Rocky took 2 weeks ago, and then coming back and battling the way he did and played the best, my opinion is he's playing the best he's ever played, I think you see that again, Cutts has got Andrew has two major, injuries that he's fighting through. Dylan Phelps has been kind of in the same boat this year. And we just had so many guys that, a lot out for the season, unfortunately, but a lot of guys had been out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they come back and they continue to try to play for each other. And I think that, you hear me say this a lot to our team, but just talking about playing for the name on the front of your jersey, I think being a Colorado State Ram matters, and I think it matters to them, and I think they take a lot of pride in that. And I think, trying to play for each other and trying to finish strong and trying to be proud of their process and the progress that they've made and the growth that they've had, I think that's what team is about, and I think that's why you see as many guys finishing the way that they are and have for a reason. And I think, what you hope too, and there's a certain sense of this, not to be selfish, but the name on the back of their jersey matters too. They're playing for their families, they're playing for their parents, they're playing for, in some cases, their own kids. I know, even talking with Donut, I mean, it's important to him to finish with what he can control, the best he can control, because he wants his son to be able to see him in this capacity. He wants to be at his best, for him. And so I think that, anytime that you try to judge people based on when it's going well, when it's easy, it's easy for everybody to feel good about that. But if you really want to judge the character of somebody, watch how they walk whenever things are hard. And things have been hard, let's be honest. They've been hard. And these kids have walked, I feel like every day of every minute as best they could. I've had a couple of mistakes, no question about that. But I'm continue to be proud of them for how they play, how they practice, and how they work. And I think they're doing that for the name on the front of their jersey and the name on the back as well.
We kind of touched on it, but like when we were talking to Rocky and Jace, obviously both have really great games. They just want to be more reflective, and it's not about me. I would rather this means something for team wins. But they were both insistent. They've never seen anybody quit on them in their locker room. What are some examples that maybe we don't see that gives you the same feeling that none of these guys have bailed out?
Well, I think it's easy to see other situations that can be hard and can look rough, and I think you can see that, I think you can see that everywhere, but I think you can certainly see that in college football for sure. And I think a great example is really we've only had one guy really leave the team, and we've had a lot of guys that again are battling through injuries that are trying to come back and play for each other. And I think when you start seeing a good example from the other day, we had just trying to do the right thing as much as they can. I had a player the other night who was just really upset. And he was like, "Coach, we've got to be better with the little things." There was somebody left the trash on the bus. Somebody wound up, being late for a study hall. He's like, "We can't do that." And so I think that when you see, the emotion that they have behind trying to do the little things right and correcting those things, I think that's how where their heart is. And at the end of the day, I think this football team's heart is in the right place. And I think their mind is in the right place. We're trying to do the best we can to get their bodies there, But I think a lot of times what you see is football teams like this, when they go through challenging situations and a challenging season of life or a challenging football season, I think right around the corner you see a lot of success. And I know that's what's going to happen with this team.
Owen still leads the nation in tackles, tackles per game, stuff like that. Is he kind of built for a game like this, where he knows the run's coming at him from someplace, maybe not always where, but he knows it's coming?
Yeah, I hope they all do. I hope they all do. But I think, I think that this is a game where, for us, again, when you play option teams, it has to be a holistic idea. Your offense, your defense, and your special teams all have to play. We've played somewhere between, and we've tried to do this and be more up-tempo offensively the last couple of weeks, but where you may play 14 series a game, 15 series a game, we may only get the ball 9 times. And so what happens is obviously you cut down on your opportunities to score points. So, your offense has got to be tied in with how to win the game when you play against these teams. A lot of times these guys, are kind of slow starters in the first half, and then they come in, make adjustments to what you're doing the second half, and they find ways to be able to create explosive plays on you in the second half. And so we kind of know all those things going in. And you hope to be able to have the answers for them. But it's our practice schedule this week. It's got to be a holistic approach for us to be successful each day. And I think, having all three, the offense, defense, and special teams tied into the big picture of how you win these games when you play option teams and limited amount of touches and getting off the field. We don't need to be in situations defensively where we're giving up a 10, 11, 12, 13 play drive. We need to figure out how to be able to, again, stay ahead of the sticks defensively to give our offense more touches at the ball. And we've got to be able to take some chances at the same time. If their offense is going to go forward on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, we've got to take advantage of those situations defensively, but we've also got to make some choices to be able to do the same things when we're on offense to keep the ball in our hands. And I think those are all important for us to figure out how to win.
Yeah, and as the season's kind of winding down, how do you, with all the challenges and adversity that this team has faced, how do you see the guys coming together mainly off the field and just supporting each other, kind of growing together?
Yeah, well, I think the best example for me, is whenever we get a chance to travel together. And I think, I think it was the first week, I can't remember, I apologize, but the first week we were having, a snack on Friday night, and I just didn't see a whole lot of guys there for the snack. And, again, call me corny or sentimental or whatever you want to see, the other night, I was trying to count, and I think we had around 62 of them there at one point, and just excited about being around each other and cutting up. I think, having our captains meetings where the captains get a chance to talk to them, they come out of that excited and having fun, and that's where, I want our guys to play loose. I don't want a football team in the last 48 hours to be super, super tight and that kind of thing. I want them to play with some freedom, and I want them to be able to play, disciplined at the same time. But I think that the closer they are, the more they spend time together. And, a wise person once told me that, meals and food can bring a lot of people together. And so I guess that's where I see their enjoyment with each other and their time together. And that's kind of what stood out to me the most.
Yeah, and I also did want to clarify on Saturday, like the video of Darius was widespread. What did you see watching back from Liam that kind of led to your decision of the suspension?
Well, we wound up having an opportunity to talk to him early in the day and then visit with him throughout the day, and wound up being able to come to a decision together, and that's how we communicated it, and then kind of decided from there, how we wanted to be able to move forward, and that's what we did.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank y'all.